Welcome back inside Mallory Gymnasium. We're about to tip off between Fontbonne and Ozarks. Second game of the Rhodes College Classic. Fontbonne in purple, Ozarks in silver, and the Eagles win the tip. It's controlled by the visitors from Arkansas. Silver jerseys, purple numerals. Ozarks just played on this court on Thursday against Rhodes. Delaney Stevens puts one up from the right side, won't go. Feed inside for Emerson, and those are the first points of the ball game scored by Cassie Emerson. 2-0 Ozarks early on. In the early going, Fontbonne in the purple jerseys with white numerals will kick out for three. This one rattles out off the mark. Riley Guffey with the attempt, could not get it to fall. Opening minute of this contest between these two sides, both of whom will play again tomorrow. And Stevens with a finish on the interior there. 4-0 early Ozarks. Ozarks coached by first-year head coach Courtney Williams. Still looking for their first win, 0-3 this season. Inside, taken away from Jillian Venegas. Ozarks with an early 4-0 lead. Stevens, the intended target for the pass there from Savannah Kate Smith, but could not quite catch it. Alongside Chris Eddings, I'm Tyler Springs. Thanks for joining us on the Lynx Live Network this evening. Final game of 4 played today at Mallory Gym. McKinney lets fly. That one's going to be a little strong, and rebounded by Venegas. Jillian wearing number 24, Raven wearing number 54. Here's Raven Venegas down floor, call for steps. Just a couple too many. Jillian Venegas, 10 points in Fontbonne's opening game against Robert Morris, an NAIA school in Illinois. Raven had 12. And the rebound comes down to Jillian this time off the miss by the University of the Ozarks. Guffey behind the back dribble. We'll chip it back out for Jillian Venegas. Fontbonne looking for their first points. Going to the hole and claiming the bucket, Riley Stafford. I believe a foul call on the floor prior to the bucket counting. Negates the shot. Here's a triple.
Eagles are trying to play a conservative defense and make the Griffins into shooters, and that time
Paige Black able to shoot them out of it. Stevens inside. Catch and a give to Cassie Emerson. She'll try to put back her own miss there. And finally, Raven Venegas comes away with the rebound. All the way in. Not quite. Stafford a little shy of the mark. Poked away by Venegas at the other end, working on McKinney. $7:16 to go in the opening period. An early 4-3 lead. And steps called against Raven Venegas. Venegas, a 5'10 junior. She and Jillian both playing their junior seasons for Fontbonne out of St. Louis, Missouri. Coached by fifth-year head coach Maureen Sias. Griffins have had a tough time over the last few years. 33-43 for this senior class. Ozarks' Haley Ostrander hits from 3 for a 7-3 lead. In fact, both these schools have had a rough go over the last couple of years. Each one with winning percentages under 500 over their last 3 seasons. So these senior classes hungry to get off to a good start in 2018. Black almost with a 5-second count there. Gets the ball back in the corner. Stafford lost the handle. They're going to be calling a foul here on Haley Ostrander. (7-3) in the early going, as Kerrigan Bradshaw subs in for the first time. And what's going to be important as we go through this, Chris, I think, is fatigue, particularly on the side of Ozarks. They're the ones who are going to have to turn around and play at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So they'd like to be able to sub players out at particular times during the game if they can get them some rest. We'll keep an eye on that as we go forward. Inside. Off the mark on the miss by Emerson. 7-3 early on. A chance for Fontbonne here to cut the deficit. And Stafford called for a travel.
A lot of travel calls early on.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in the Rhodes game against. Now I'm drawing a blank. Why am I doing this? Bluffton. Goodness gracious. Sorry, guys. And we're going to see a lot of that here, I imagine, as well, early in the season. Referees trying to set the tone.
Fontbonne starts out in a press.
1-2-1-1, I think. Ozarks able to break through it. Z Wright will feed to the elbow. McKinney and the long black sleeves pushing it across. Kerrigan Bradshaw off the window. No. Emerson the putback. Yes. When Ozarks played Rhodes the other night, Cassie Emerson was not as much of a factor as she's already been in this game. Showing some toughness on the inside. Good energy. Kick to the corner for Venegas. Paige Black right down Broadway. Won't go. Too hard off the window.
Both teams are trying to play conservative defense, forcing the other team to shoot that three.
A good test early on for both offenses. Emerson. Pass deflected by Paige Black. Subs oncoming for both sides. Brittany Sane for Ozarks. Checks into the ball game for the first time. Mallory Proffer comes in for Fontbonne. 5:15 to play here in the opening frame. Bradshaw cutting baseline. Kicks out. Sane corner three. That's off back iron. It will not go. Proffer with those long arms corrals the rebound. Guffey. Lob pass. Inside. Shot short. Sarah Shrout not able to put it up and in there. Inside. Shrout and Venegas trying to deny Cassie Emerson, and successful. Sarah Shrout coming off a 22.11 rebound performance against Robert Morris in their opener. Mallory Proffer taking some heat off Fontbonne by getting a bucket there. Bradshaw puts it in the air. Z Wright feeds it over to Sane. Inside bounce, a little hard, and it bounces off Cassie Emerson. I like the idea there from Brittany Sane, but with Emerson so close, I think she bounced it a little close to her to be able to connect. 9-5 in the early going. Fontbonne trailing Ozarks. 4:21 to go in the opening period. More coming from Mallory Gymnasium next. Out of the timeout, 4:18 to play. here in first quarter. Fontbonne trailing 9-5 against Ozarks. Fontbonne in purple, Ozarks in silver. Outside, Black with 10 on the shot clock, being worked on by Kerrigan Bradshaw. Proffer lets fly for three, it won't go. And Bradshaw the rebound for Ozarks. Brittany Saint will push it ahead. Rebound corralled by Fontbonne's Guffey. Riley Guffey with a jab step, working to her left hand. Double teamed. Good ball movement by Fontbonne. The three ball going to be off the mark. Madison Boas not able to put it on the rim. Neal, long two won't go. Z Wright working for the rebound. Gets it up, still won't go. And it's pulled in by Shrout. Shrout from the top of the key. Won't shoot from there, at least on that particular instance. Proffer bouncing inside. 2-point ball game at 9-7 with 2:29 to go in the first quarter. Some full court looks here from Fontbonne, giving Ozarks a little trouble with Bradshaw able to dribble through. Kerrigan Bradshaw to the cup. Okay, we see you. 11-7, Ozarks rebuilds it to 4. Bradshaw staying right in the hip pocket of Paige Black. Proffer with a great skip to the corner for Guffey. Guffey with a nice bounce for Shrout. Backs up to the three line. Shot short.
Ever since coming out of that timeout, Ozarks' defense has been a lot more aggressive.
They forced the kick out here. Weatherford the knockdown. 14-7. The lead for Ozarks right now, with Hannah Weatherford making it from long range. Off the drive and kick. Guffey too strong on the three. Bradshaw all the way in, won't get the roll, but gets the foul. Kerrigan Bradshaw, just a freshman from Harrison, Arkansas, but not playing like it right now. Showing a lot of energy. Bradshaw off the mark on her first free throw. Ozarks will have to play at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, matching up with Bluffton. Fontbonne will wait longer, facing Rhodes College at 4 o'clock. So a couple of the Rhodes coaches still in the house, sticking around to watch this one. Paige Black triggers the three from the far corner. That won't go.
Fontbonne's getting a lot of open looks. They're just not connecting.
The shooting at the moment, less than spectacular for both sides. But again, early in the season, hard to find a rhythm at times. Z Wright coming up with a turnover. Almost had that one skipped out of her hands. Puts it up and it will not go. So the chance goes begging for Ozarks. And those are so important on a night where you can't shoot. If it continues this way for both sides, you got to be able to get the free ones, or at least the ones where you've got a better shot at a high percentage look.
They're going to have to penetrate and get something inside.
15-7 in the closing moments of the first quarter. Fontbonne trying to cut into this lead. Proffer for three, off the mark. Paige Black right there for the rebound. Stafford, no. Pulled in by Weatherford. Carrion Bradshaw all the way in. No. Bradshaw collects her own miss. It's tied up, and the arrow favors Ozarks. Closing moments of the quarter. You would have to figure it's not going to be a quick shot here, right, for Ozarks. They're going to hold it for a couple of moments. I was kind of surprised Bradshaw went so quick to the rim there.
She was very aggressive, trying to get an easy layup. The look was there. She just didn't finish.
Both teams inclined to play it aggressively, offensively, and conservatively on defense. They're going to switch possession of the basketball over to Fontbonne for the final shot. So an opportunity knocking for the Griffins. Stafford had it poked away. Five seconds to go. Black into Shrout. Shrout to a cutting Stafford to the hoop. Crawford going to have to put it up from three. That won't make the rim. 15-7, Fontbonne down to Ozarks after a period here in Memphis. This is college basketball on the Lynx Live Network. Starting quarter number 2 here in Memphis, where Ozarks leads Fontbonne 15-7. Alongside Chris Eddings, I'm Tyler Springs. Ozarks with the basketball in silver with purple numerals. Fontbonne in purple with white numerals. Don't get them confused. We won't, so you don't have to. 9:41 to play until halftime. Fontbonne basketball. But only 7 points in a slow-moving first quarter. Venegas spinning to the rim. There's going to be a foul called before the shot. So Raven Venegas will not get a chance to put this one home.
That's what Fontbonne's going to have to do if they want to come back and get ahead of the Eagles.
Attacking the rim. Good knock away by Cameron McKinney on the far side. You look at what Fontbonne did in the first quarter. Only 2 of 6 in the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range. Did not get to the free throw line at all. Venegas won't go from 3. Raven Venegas got knocked over by Cassie Emerson, both trying to fight for the basketball in the far corner. I think they're going to tag Emerson with the foul.
I think the length of Ozarks inside is bothering them on the drive.
Of the two squads, right now, Ozarks has a little more wingspan on the interior. Stafford all the way in. Got knocked down, put up the shot still, and Venegas with a feisty rip away there. I think the momentum of that little interaction made it look worse than it was. Everybody wants the rock. Guffey beating Stafford, and I think we're going to get a jump ball call here.
don't think the Fontbonne coach agrees with it.
I would imagine if you took possession away from me, I wouldn't either. There was a discrepancy at the end of the first quarter with the arrow, where they switched it from Ozarks possession to Fontbonne possession. And now I'm curious to know whether or not they actually made the switch back. It will be Fontbonne basketball underneath the bucket. 15-7. No scoring yet through 1 minute of the second quarter. Venegas threw it off of an Ozark defender, but it stayed in play. Here comes McKinney down floor on the break. McKinney lost the handle and gives it right back. And play stop for a young child walking across the court. I've been doing this since 2013, and that is the first time I've seen this.
I've never seen that.
That is number one. Little kid looks to be okay, but did not know he did not need to be walking there. All right. Check that off your bucket list. 15-7. 8:30 to play. I'm sorry. Guffey for three. Off the mark. I'm going to hold it together here. I promise. Probably. Delaney Stevens in the corner for Ozarks. Trying to go baseline, get it through to McKinney. Good movement for Ozarks. And Emerson hits from the free throw line. See, I held it together. I'm good. I'm good. 17-7. Ozarks has built the lead to 10. 8 minutes to play here in the second quarter until halftime. Proffer got knocked down in a rough way underneath and slow to get up. So for a moment, Ozarks has numbers. McKinney on the break. Didn't use any of her teammates. Ball gets knocked out of bounds. And it'll go back to Fontbonne.
Fontbonne was finally getting what they were looking for on offense, but they're still not converting.
It takes some time to get the rhythm you want, the looks you want, and even the effectiveness of the shots you want when you're finding the opportunities you need. Fontbonne with a little early season malaise in this contest in a way they did not experience against Robert Morris, a game they won 88-66. Venegas off the mark from three. Ostrander thought about pulling up herself. She'll go to the hole and draw the contact. Haley Ostrander, not big, but not afraid of going to the inside. Showed that against Rhodes the other night. Can also pull up from deep. Ostrander with a couple coming here. Sinks the first. 19 points for Haley Ostrander in the game the other night against Rhodes in 31 minutes of action. 5'5" senior from Alma, Arkansas. Gets it to go. 19-7. And Ostrander will check out. 7:05 to go until halftime here in Memphis. Second game of two today in the Rhodes Classic to open the 2018-19 campaign for a lot of teams. Venegas steps out and hits from the elbow. Jillian passing to Raven for the assist. 19-9. Fontbonne within 10. Here's Savannah K. Smith. It was a good little microwave off the bench the other night, bringing some energy to the floor. Tough angle shot. Venegas going for the rebound. Down to Stevens instead. Up and in. Alana Brown's initial try there, no good, but Delaney Stevens right on the spot for the cleanup. Trout will check in. Jillian Venegas will sit. Delaney Stevens quietly effective on the interior. Taylor McFarland will see her first action for Ozarks. 22-9, the Eagles with the lead over the Fontbonne Griffins. Paige Black gonna feed Venegas in the interior, working against McFarland. Shrout sets her feet for three. This rainbow won't go. Black, the backside rebound, and Black is tripped by Alana Brown.
The Ozarks are doing a great job defending the screen set by Fontbonne.
When you look for teams that defend a screen well, what does it look like in terms of doing it poorly versus doing it well?
When you're doing it well, you're following your man, pushing your garden. You're right behind them. Doing it poorly, you fall asleep, you hit the screen, they make the shot.
So you've got to stay kind of right up against them in order to be good at it.
Right.
Do you see that do you see players struggle with that more later in the game when they're tired?
It happens more so often early on.
Emerson with the intercept on the far end, denying a Fontbonne fast break. 22-9. Brown puts it up wildly, and it will not go. Paige Black with the collection, and a head of steam coming down floor. Stafford got it. And finally, Fontbonne clears double digits. Down 22-12. 5:14 to play until halftime. Subs coming in a moment. And we'll likely have the under 5 timeout as well. McKinney, one-on-one with Shrout. On the switch. Skip to Smith. Up over Venegas, it won't go. Black steps into a three. Everything missing short from the arc. Brown, blocked partly by Stafford, and a foul committed by Alana Brown. 4:38 to go until halftime. And a 10-point ball game between Ozarks and Fontbonne. I think we're going to get timeout on the floor here. Back in a moment on the Lynx Live Network. This is college basketball. (22-12), Ozarks on top of Fontbonne here at the Rhodes Classic in Memphis. Ozarks in silver, Fontbonne in purple. Fontbonne with control, working left to right at the moment. 4:28 to go until halftime. Ball in the hands of Paige Black, their senior guard. Will lay it off on Mallory Proper. Venegas finding nowhere to go against Diamond Goodwin. That seems like an even battle going forward between Goodwin and Venegas on the inside. We'll see how it goes through the rest of the night. We didn't see a lot of Diamond Goodwin against Rhodes on Thursday evening, but if you want the size to contend with Jillian and Raven Venegas, Goodwin has it. Sometimes tonight, Ozarks has just gone with length simply to bother them on the inside.
It's worked.
So far, so good, leading 22-12. Alongside Chris Eddings, I'm Tyler Springs. A foul on the floor committed by Shakira Neal against Haley Stafford. Thanks for putting up with us tonight on the Lynx Live Network. Really putting up with me. Chris is not as nearly as much of a bother as I am, for the most part.
I agree.
That's what you're supposed to do. 4 more games coming up tomorrow. If you're a Hoops fan, start tuning in at 10 o'clock Central Time. Ozarks will be back in action against Bluffton in that contest. Riley Stafford, the Jackson, Missouri native, 5'6" sophomore, able to knock down the free throw there. Got the second as well. Eight-point ball game with 3:45 to go into the half. Ozarks doing some good passing to finally get it through the half-court line. Open for three. Bradshaw can't find the hole. Black for three. Bang.
He's doing it.
Slowly but surely, Fontbonne is crawling their way back. Down 5, 22-17. This is where you really need some offense. If you're the Ozarks. Neal, no. Great pickoff by Brittany Sane. One-on-one to the cup. Laid it up too hard, and this ball is still going to be loose. Will Bradshaw get to it? This will be Fontbonne basketball, I think. They will say no. This is Ozarks basketball, called by the referee at the far end. And Wendy Sias having a fit on the Fontbonne sideline because the two referees that were closest to her didn't get a good angle on the ball and didn't make a call on it. You can understand the frustration there, but if their view is blocked by the players involved in the play, I imagine it's tougher to make a definitive call one way or the other. Sane. Savannah Kate Smith fouled by Paige Black. 5-point ball game between Ozarks and Fontbonne here in Memphis. Ozarks' bench has gone far deeper early in the game than Fontbonne's has. Only 8 players have seen action thus far for the Griffins. They're on defense right now. Ball in the hands of Brittany Sane for Ozarks. Sane dribbled it off her foot. But I think this is going to be a foul call prior to that happening. Five fouls on each side, both teams in the bonus. 2:26 to go until the half. Sane on the free throw misses. As a team, Ozarks shooting at a 70% clip from the free throw line this year. Sane gets the second one to go. 6-point ball game. Riley Guffey wanted to go down the middle, dishes to Stafford on the side, and loses the handle. We've seen Weatherford shoot from there before. Instead, she'll find Goodwin passing up the outside shot for the inside one.
She's got the easier bucket.
Goodwin able to turn around, face up, and put it home. 25-17, Ozarks with the lead. Proffer. Nice little hesitation, but couldn't get any room for Stafford. Guffey swings to the corner for Boas. Back outside for Riley Guffey. Guffey on the drive. Guffey nets it.
She had to wiggle her way through the paint to get that one.
That was quite the wiggle. 90 seconds to play in the second quarter. 25-19. If Ozarks can get a stop here and a bucket, this feels like very much a ball game going into the second half. Savannah Kate Smith hounded by that Griffin defense. Weatherford, the bomb, won't go. Guffey down floor, kicks for three. Proffer the swing. Inside, Shrout fouled. (25-19) to put Sarah Shrout on the line. Shrout 5 of 5 in her double-double game against Robert Morris to open the year for the Griffins. She misfires from the line there. Z Wright will check in. Brittany Sane checks out for Ozarks.
I think you might have jinxed her on that first one.
Did I? I've done that twice now, right?
Yes.
If I do it a third time, is that a prize or am I banished?
I think you're banished.
Wow. 25-19, make it 25-20. 53 seconds to go in the quarter. Savannah Kate Smith working once, trying to work twice. No, Goodwin. She's done that 2 possessions in a row now where she's cleaned up the garbage or just gotten an easy put in from close range. It'll stay Fontbonne basketball with 34 seconds to go. 14-second differential between shot and game clock here in Memphis. Into Guffey. Stafford a baseline drive and stepped on the end line. So 30 1/10 of a second to go. This should be Ozarks to hold for the final shot. Off the mark from Goodwin. They shot with about 17 seconds still to go on the clock. Six, 5, 4, Boas. Proffer from the baseline, nets it. Madison Proffer with Mallory Proffer with a momentum-changing shot, potentially.
They needed that going into the half.
They did. 5-point ball game as Ozarks will hit the locker room, as will Fontbonne. The Griffins trailing the Eagles 27-22 here on the Lynx Live Network. Back with more in a few minutes. This is college basketball. Back at halftime on the Lynx Live Network. Ozarks with the lead over Fontbonne, 27-22. I'm Tyler Springs. He's Chris Eddings. Thanks for joining us this evening. Final game in our 4-game gauntlet here on Saturday. Savannah Kate Smith and the Ozarks Eagles start with a basketball here in the second half. Ozarks working left to right. Up by 5, 27-22. Delaney Stevens backing down in the lane, and it goes off the hand of Riley Guffey. Stevens will kick out for Ostrander, a 3, and she hits. Having a weapon like Haley Ostrander from the outside, big for Ozarks. 8 points for Ostrander in this game, and it's an 8-point lead. Inside, nice little give and go action between Venegas and Guffey.
They just got exactly what they needed to get, getting the ball inside.
Something they were not able to do a lot in the first half. You mentioned it, Chris.
The first half, they only scored 6 points in the paint.
Against 14 for Ozarks. Ostrander, little heat check there. Everybody goes down in a heap, and then I think a travel called on Jillian Venegas.
Fontbonne, they switched to a zone to try to prevent the Ozarks from getting more points in the paint. Hopefully it works.
We're going to find out very soon because other than Haley Ostrander, well, just as I say that, there goes Cameron McKinney from deep.
They're probably going to come out that zone now.
We'll see how long they stay in it. Maybe there'll be a couple more possessions, but starting 5 points behind to begin the half and now being down 9 hasn't helped. Paige Black off the mark from the outside. Jillian Venegas trying to go in herself and just can't get the right roll. Savannah Kate Smith all the way down the right side of the lane. And a blocking foul on the backside on Riley Stafford. They have not seen a lot of foul shots on either side. Fontbonne 3 of 4, Ozarks 5 of 7. Ostrander off the back iron. Stafford collects the miss. Push forward to Black with numbers. Ahead to Venegas. That's the fast break points you want. And Guffey with some good defense in the backcourt there. Fontbonne not letting up with 8:03 to go here in the opening moments of quarter number 3. 7-point game. They find Stevens on the turnaround in the lane. Mismatch against the much smaller Guffey. But Stevens can't put it home, and here comes Stafford racing down court. Black for 3. Off the back iron. Smith. Ostrander. Not that time.
Fontbonne seems they're trying to push the ball up the floor to put the Ozarks on their heels.
Do you like that approach?
Right now, it's hard to say. They haven't scored off of it yet.
Sometimes the process does not equal the results we want.
I think I like their half-court offense, getting the ball inside.
There goes Venegas in, kicks out. Black gonna have to put it up soon. Venegas, the J, missed everything. Ozark defense held strong there, forcing them to waste a lot of clock. Savannah Kate Smith will bring it up once again for Ozarks. Lost the handle that time and called for the carry. And I think McKinney was a little upset about that because she was the one that was going to get the pass. I would be too. 33-26. Chance for Fontbonne to cut into it. Guffey inside. Venegas Didn't take a sharp angle, but just by sheer force of effort, put that one up and off glass. Here's McKinney. McKinney looking for help, finally gets it away to Emerson. Emerson triggers for three, that won't go. Venegas the pitch out to Guffey. Guffey switching hands, gets it away. Fontbonne only down 5. One more would make it a little uncomfortable for Ozarks. Paige Black off the mark from 3. Black remains fearless in pulling the trigger. Ostrander working her way to the hoop and fouled by Ostrander, or rather fouled by Venegas. (33-28) inside Mallory Gymnasium, third quarter, with 5:42 to go as Haley Ostrander steps to the free throw line. Got it to go. And the second as well. 7-point game, 35-28. 5:39 to play here in the third quarter. And Proffer got the ball in a spot where she didn't have a lot of room to work.
Another turnover on Fontbonne.
And they have had quite a few of those today, 12 in the first half for the Griffins.
That's been the difference in the game so far, turnovers.
8 points off of turnovers gained by Ozarks in that first half, and Fontbonne only forced 3 turnovers by Ozarks. Good straight-up defense played by Jillian Venegas there, make it Raven Venegas. Black gonna feed the post. Venegas draws the double, a deflection out wide. Stafford for 3, off the back iron. Ozarks still cold, or rather, Fontbonne still largely cold from the outside. They're going to try to put Sarah Shroud in to change that in a moment. In the meantime, Proffer there with the pickoff. Black. Stafford from the corner. Again off the mark. It was a good look, just didn't go down.
The threes just haven't been falling for them tonight.
Smith. Not quite. And timeout taken with under 5 minutes to go here in the quarter. 35-28 the lead for Ozarks. Eagles still on top of the Griffins here at Mallory Gymnasium in Memphis. (35-28). Ozarks on top of the Fontbonne Griffins, though it's Fontbonne, the St. Louis team, that has the ball here. Shroud from the top of the key, waiting for some action to happen for Fontbonne. Intercepted on the inside by Emerson. Turnovers continuing to cost the Griffins, and they have trouble forcing them on the defensive end. Weatherford pulls up. Shrout the rebound. Sarah Shrout. To the corner for Stafford. Wanted to pull the trigger. Gives it up to Black instead. Stafford steps into a three. Still off the side iron. You're right, Chris. There's a lid on the basket tonight, especially from range.
At this point, they might want to start looking inside again.
Try to go to the rack. Find some different ways to get fouled. And if Ostrander can find her own shot that way, the night's going to get even longer. 3:09 to go here in the third quarter. And no progress made. A lazy pass there. And it'll be taken in by Delaney Stevens. Can't finish. Black doing a good job hustling back on defense to make sure that errant pass did not cost Fontbonne. But you can see the fatigue on the face of Riley Stafford there, trying to put a lofted pass over toward Benegas and couldn't connect. And I can't read lips very well from across the room, but I'm guessing Wendy Sias said something about that to Stafford as she went to the bench. Hopefully she will get a breather here for the next 3 minutes. Guffey for three. Not that time. Kerrigan, Bradshaw. Back toward Hannah Weatherford. Ostrander, a step back. Almost got the look, not quite. Black. Proffer called for steps. Diamond Goodwin set to come on. Cassie Emerson will check out. Most of Goodwin's minutes have been in short stints. We'll see if that holds true here. Bradshaw keeps it in. Z Wright up and in. First time we've heard from Z Wright in this contest. Making it an 11-point lead for Ozarks. 39-28 with under 2 minutes to play in the period. Guffey passed up the three, going in, and there's Z Wright on the other end with a block. Bradshaw. Off glass, collected by Ostrander. Bounced for Weatherford. Open look from 10. And this run is going to cause Wendy Sias to call timeout. 41-28. That may be a game-changing run for Ozarks. 1:36 to play in quarter number 3. Back with more basketball from Memphis in a moment. Out of the timeout. A minute and a half to play here in the third quarter. Backcourt pressure intensified by Ozarks. Proffer almost had her pocket picked. Comes up with a ball on the deck. They get it back to Boas. Shrout kicks to Guffey. And Guffey with an offensive foul. Good guarding position maintained by Z Wright. And that is quite possibly the worst possession you could possibly have of your Ozarks. You tell me if I'm wrong, but wasted a lot of time, didn't get a shot, and turned it over. 41-28.
You're right.
Ostrander to the cup.
She's been doing it all tonight.
She's got a heck of a lot of confidence. Guffey back around the horn. And one thing that Ozarks has changed is the pressure on the ball. That's the first play we've seen tonight where somebody's really challenged them on the inside.
That's right. She took it off the screen, got to the hoop.
Great job by Paige Black. Senior showing a little bit of leadership there. Got it to go. 3-point play the old-fashioned way. Showing a little bit of poise under pressure. Ozarks definitely turned up the heat defensively coming out of that timeout. I don't think Fontbonne was ready for that. In my view, it threw them off a little bit. 19 seconds to go in the quarter. Weatherford. That would have been the luckiest bounce in the history of man. 43-31. 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Fed to Proffer. 5 seconds. Black going to try to go to the rim again. Lost the handle. And this is going to be, let's see, a foul on the floor? Yes. This will be a 1-and-1 upcoming. Angela Wyatt called for the foul. Make it a foul with the ball thrown underneath. And Z Wright able to pick it off. I don't know if that would have counted from half court. Either way, what Ozarks did do was deny a good shot for the Fontbonne crew going into the fourth quarter. So with one more period to go, it's a 43-31 lead for Ozarks here at Mallory Gymnasium. Back with more from Memphis in a moment. Another three tried by Jillian Venegas here in the fourth quarter, but this time her sister Raven rebounds for Fontbonne and puts it back up and in. 10-point difference between Ozarks and Fontbonne. The Eagles have the lead, 43-33, and currently they've got the ball. Cameron McKinney comes to it, taking it from Delaney Stevens. Ostrander for three. Off back iron. On the floor, Stevens comes up with it off the deck. McKinney the finish. That's the kind of momentum-changing play that can really suck the life out of you once you've thought you've had a good defensive possession. 9 minutes to go. Finally, they'll try to let Venegas back down Stevens. The long three from Black won't fall. 45-33, Ozarks with the lead. McKinney thought about it, had a notion, and let it go. Emerson waiting for Stevens to get in position on the high block. Black doing a great job fronting the post. McKinney off the front iron. Here comes Ostrander in for the rebound, and a foul call.
Ozarks did a great job of taking their time and running some time off the clock on that possession.
The clock is a friend to the Eagles at the moment. On top, 45-33. Proffer will inbound with Stafford. Both Venegas sisters, Jillian and Raven, on the floor, along with Paige Black, the senior. And a foul called on Cameron McKinney as Proffer was trying to get defensive position, or rather offensive position there on the block. Venegas back to Proffer. Fed inside, and a foul call on Delaney Stevens.
That's what Fontbonne needs to keep looking for. The inside post player.
We haven't seen a run from this lineup a lot, but there's the fine. You talked about it. And a timeout immediately taken by Wendy Sias. What do you think of taking a timeout right here with 8:02 to play? Because you've just gotten one successful possession, and that's great. But aren't you also giving Ozarks some time to react and to think about how to stop that what you just saw?
I don't know about that timeout. I feel like it's going to slow down the momentum after that made basket.
I've certainly seen coaches who will, if their team's in a rut, will draw something up, will call timeout, have that play run, and if it succeeds, or at least if the next time they get a bucket or two buckets in a row, they'll call timeout because they want that good feeling to be maintained, or to all right, let's talk about something while you've got your confidence level high. I don't know if that's what Wendy Sias was going to there or not, but it's just it's a curious tactic to think about.
Guess we'll see when they come out of this timeout.
We are going to find out. That's true. Time's going to tell. Time usually tells, in my experience. 45-35, 10-point ball game. Ozarks up here in the fourth quarter. He's Chris Eddings. I'm Tyler Springs. You're hanging with us on a Saturday night. It's a good time. I think it's a good time.
Good time.
Chris is having an all right time. Black Eyed Peas are having a good time.
Fontbonne came out of this timeout in a press.
Yes, they have. Savannah Kate Smith gets the inbound. Good passing by Ozarks. Able to break through it. Ostrander picks up the dribble. They feed Emerson on the inside. McKinney, nowhere to go. Intercepted by Venegas. That's a great collection. Stafford, an open look. Not the moment for it. One of these days it will go down. But will it be tonight? Will it be in time? 10-point ball game. Savannah Kate Smith off the dribble. Won't go. Defended well by Fontbonne, but I'm a little surprised that this game is still where it is, honestly. It's still within reach for both sides, I think. You thought there was going to be a moment where Ozarks was going to pull away, and they have not. Not definitively.
Both teams are struggling from the three-point line, so that's definitely a factor in why the game is still so close.
Anything can happen. Venegas bouncing inside. The double drawn by Raven Venegas. Here's Jillian bowling her way into the interior. No foul called in the play. Out ahead, and it's taken in by Proffer. Jillian Venegas with a baseball pass up court. Good handles for a big. Both of them have good dribbling skills, and an offensive foul called on Jillian Venegas.
I don't know about that one. And apparently neither does the Fontbonne coach.
No, I don't think Wendy Sias is incredibly enthused by that call.
I think I agree with her a little bit as to why she might feel that wasn't a charge.
I think the optics are tough. Ostrander will take technical free throws here. Gets the first.
That certainly takes the momentum out of.
Oh, takes all the wind out of your sails. Absolutely. And if it's a smaller player on that play, like if it's, I mean, you take your pick. If it's Stafford going in, even with that sort of speed and control, it doesn't look like it's as much of a force going that way as one of the Venegas sisters. In that case, Jillian.
Yeah, I thought she went straight up on that, so that's why I didn't disagree. I mean, that's why I disagreed with
the offensive foul call. Yeah. So it does not go Fontbonn's way. 47-35, a 12-point advantage now for Ozarks. Emerson having a little trouble here in the backcourt. Ahead to McKinney. This is loose. And taken in by Proffer. This is going to be a 10-second count.
The press worked for Fontbonne this time.
Fontbonne has not given up. 6.5 to play. Neither side has done a whole lot from the arc. Can Fontbonne consistently find a way to get inside, draw some fouls? Ostrander slips to the floor, so it's 5-on-4 for a moment. A tie-up in the lane, and the jump ball does not favor Fontbonne. Back and forth and back and forth. Nobody's got the edge.
Long fourth quarter.
And that is bad news if you're playing at 10 o'clock in the morning. Great pickup by Shrout and Black, but she didn't go up with it immediately. Guffey to Black in the corner. The senior for three. Hello!
He hits one. Just in time.
6 minutes to go, and timeout taken by Ozarks.
Fontbonne getting their momentum back after that one.
And Courtney Williams, first-year head coach, is hot. Very hot. Clapping her hands at her players. And there are going to be some short, rapid-fire words delivered over there in that timeout, I imagine. 47-38, and it still remains a game. 9 points the difference between Ozarks and Fontbonne. Ozarks with the lead. Back in a moment at Mallory Gymnasium. In fact, we'll keep it here. Back in a moment, except that we don't have a moment to give. You're waiting and waiting and waiting all night for finally Paige Black to make that shot and put a little pressure on Ozarks.
She hit it at the right time.
Timing is everything. More backcourt pressure. Stevens almost trapped there, dribbled it off her foot. Now Bradshaw with it.
It's going to be tough for Fontbonne. They want to pressure Ozark without fouling.
They're doing okay so far. I don't think they know how much time is left. They get it inside finally to Stevens. Oh, that's a backbreaker. With 1 second left on the shot clock, finally Ozarks finds a way through. 49-38, an 11-point lead. Proffer using a pick from Shrout. Gives to Stafford. Too strong on the three. Give credit to Riley Stafford. She keeps trying. Hoping that one of these will eventually fall. Ostrander on the deck. She's still got some juice left, and she draws the foul. Ostrander, Bradshaw, McKinney, Emerson, and Stevens on the floor for Ozarks right now. Down in the low block for Fontbonne. Shrout out there with Stafford. Proffer and Guffey also on the lane. Paige Black standing deep. And Jillian Venegas set to come back in with Raven Venegas. To the corner for Guffey. going to use a pick. Venegas was rolling to the rim. Guffey didn't see her, and Guffey gets fouled.
That's what they need to do. They want to come back and have a chance to win this game.
So here is Riley Guffey to the free throw stripe. Newburgh, Missouri native. Misfires on the free throw. One more chance coming. Z Wright checks in. Delaney Stevens checks out. Guffey gets the second. 51-38. 13-point game. Z Wright having a little trouble in the backcourt. Bradshaw working it ahead. Bradshaw's got some speed. Knocked off the leg of a defender, Stafford. Black ahead to Stafford, picked off by Z Wright. I don't think that's a play that's poorly made on Paige Black's part. I just think Z Wright made a great play to stop it.
Did you say she was in the right place at the right time?
Oh, man, look at you. Look what you're doing now. Haley Ostrander comes away with 2 at the other end. I see what you did there. Guffey all the way through. Cameron McKinney's getting a little ticked off. Can Fontbonne use that exasperation against Ozarks near the end of this game? (53-41). Time running out, and Venegas commits the foul.
Tough for Fontbonne to try to speed them up with this lead.
Anything you would suggest other than pressuring the ball?
I wouldn't say let them shoot threes, but sag off the three. But not if Ostrander is shooting.
Yeah, she's got the goods from deep. Foul called on the inside, putting Z Wright on the line. I think they'll put that one on Paige Black. Wright knocks it down. 13-point lead with 3:13 to play. And it's getting a little late for Fontbonne. Wright puts it in.
She got the right stuff to make the right shots.
There it is. Chris Eddings, everybody. You'll hear him again. Outside for Venegas. Stafford, please. No, not that time. The basketball gods are unkind tonight to Riley Stafford. Everybody has their share of those in their career. Rarely does it come at a good time. Ostrander. Not quite. Venegas up floor. And now inside. That's a matchup you want.
There we go.
Jillian Venegas in particular, they both move well, but I think Jillian's got, she's got some guard-like footwork.
She does.
Which helps when you're in transition the way she was there. Off the back iron. 2:41 to go. Fontbonne could really use either a make here and a steal or a miss and a putback too. She makes it. They'll stay with the backcourt pressure. Bradshaw back to Wright. Sane across the timeline. Ostrander trying to make Venegas decide. And a foul over the back on Cassie Emerson. 5 fouls on each side now, so for the rest of the way, every whistle is going to send us to the free throw line for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Venegas cannot hit the first. Gets the second. And timeout taken by Wendy Sias at 55-43. Still 12-point game with 2:30 to play, and you're thinking at this point it may be over, but
I don't know.
Fontbonne not coaching like it.
I think Fontbonne is going to come out again and make some adjustments to their press.
We're going to find out shortly. This is college basketball on the Lynx Live Network.
See if Fontbonne is making adjustments to their press.
They're putting one player in the middle to kind of defend the inbounds pass.
Almost.
And a foul called on Venegas. That's tough. Bang, bang play right there. Jillian Venegas slow to get up. She took, I think, the worst of the contact.
They did switch up their press. They forced the person at the half court to come up and get the ball.
So Jillian Venegas will head off. They'll put Sarah Shrout back in her place. Sane makes the first. 13-point game. Second one off the mark. Nicely done by Shrout. Seeing a little bit of what perhaps was demonstrated when she went for a double-double against Robert Morris in their season opener.
They need a lot more of that.
They do. They're going to need it, and they're going to need it in quick succession. Even if you lose in your Fontbonne, can you take something away from this in terms of the way you fought and kept it competitive this late in the game? There's certainly some things you want to improve, including your shooting.
For them, yeah, shooting is definitely it. Maybe they want to start, they want to, punch the other team in the mouth early on and, surprise them with the press.
They may have a chance to do that tomorrow against the Rhodes Lynx. Ostrander kicks out. 3 on the way for Savannah Kate Smith, and a friendly bounce. And timeout taken by Courtney Williams.
Took a lot of bounces before it went in.
It did, but what counts is the end result. 59-45. .150 to go. Riley Guffey will let it roll across half court with her squad down by 14. Guffey to Paige Black. Black inside. Venegas wants the kick out. Venegas going to spin, trying to get past Goodwin. Can't do it. Black for three. There's Paige Black right when she's needed.
Just like last time.
A minute 30 to go. Emerson looking for help. Smith hounded and fouled by Stafford.
Takes away from the momentum of that three that Black just hit.
He played good defense right up in the face of Savannah Kate Smith, but Stafford commits the foul there. Rough weeks for Staffords in general. Riley was having a tough game from the three-point line. Matt Stafford had to practice in the snow this week. You see that?
I did.
They made the Detroit Lions practice in the snow.
That's terrible.
Their next 5 games are all going to be indoors. Kind of strange. Off the rim for Savannah Kate Smith, 60-48. After the 2 free throws, she goes 1 of 2. Black again. Not quite, but Venegas there for the rebound underneath. They'll feed Guffey this time. Off the mark. And Shrout collects the offensive rebound. They'll pitch it back out again to the corner this time. Stafford, jab step, doesn't have a lot of time to waste. Might as well put one up. Guffey inside. Guffey all the way in past the defense and went too far in. Everything she did was right except for the fact that she went too far in. And a blocking foul called on Riley Stafford.
Thought maybe Fontbonne should have tried to get a layup. Something quick.
Stafford almost had the layup. Savannah Kate Smith nails the free throw. And the second. And a 2-shot foul called here against Ozarks on Brittany Sane. .1 seconds to go. Guffey makes and creates a 12-point separation. 5-second call against Ozarks with 46 seconds to play, okay? How quickly can you get a burst of threes?
Or just quick twos or some fouls.
Anything.
Take it to the middle and then just pray that they foul you.
Hurry. Black for 3. No, not that time. Off glass. No, not that time either. Emerson the rebound, and they get it away to Smith in the open floor, and I think this might be it.
I think you're right.
26 seconds to play. Ostrander. That's a dagger. Shooter's going to shoot.
Left her open.
Shrout. Not quite. Guffey got it underneath. Black all the way in at the buzzer. Guffey going to let it fly. That will count. So the final will be 65-53 with Riley Guffey making one at the horn. Ultimately tough for Fontbonne as they struggle to a 12-point loss against Ozarks. They will have to get up and play Rhodes College tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Ozarks will play against Bluffton tomorrow at 10 a.m. here at Mallory Gymnasium. Chris Eddings, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
This was fun. We'll do it again sometime. Thanks for those of you who tuned in. Ozarks winners over Fontbonne tonight, 65-53. If you are a basketball fan, we'll see you bright and early, 10 a.m. Central tomorrow for Bluffton and Ozarks here at Mallory Gymnasium. Thank you and good night.